became more adventurous the further his career progressed. And we are off pawn to d4. The Queen's Gambit. Great TV show on B2.
It is a great TV show, and now the players have played a Slav formation. What are we going to see Parham choose? It's a knight.
One of the horses. Move one of the horses, Parham.
Yeah, but Parham likes to spring surprises. I wonder whether he's considering moving a pawn forward, maybe even capturing a pawn in the middle. No.
It's a 3-minute game, Parham. You shouldn't think for 3 minutes about your third move. That's just bad management. That's the horsey.
That's the slow Slav. Now, is he gonna develop another horse, or did I just say horse? Yeah.
It's knight. It's knight. We see the so-called semi-Slav by Kramnik. Very sharp opening. Kramnik had a lot of battles in this memorable game. He won in '96, believe it or not, against Garry Kasparov on the black side of this. Pawn to b5, bishop to d3, bishop to d6. All still theory. Kramnik still doing his homework.
Yeah. And Kramnik very much in his comfort zone. He's played this position before. I remember there was a similar kind of game that he had against Kasparov, which was very nice, but not in this exact position. And now he pushes the white knight away, and the white knight has a choice. It can go to the edge of the board, or it can go to the middle. But either way, you gotta stop black from breaking out with c6, c5.
Yeah, that's why he goes to the middle now after the captures. The pawn is pinned for now. But Kramnik will pursue that push slowly, bring his bishop out, then bring the queen out, and maybe chase that bishop away from the e4 square, then to break free. I think he's still in book. Heart rate a little higher, but I do not believe that's because he's overly nervous here.
And I like his last move. It was a little bit surprising, but it makes a nice square for the bishop to retreat to once it's attacked. And Kramnik thinking, I mean, is he going to develop the queen? That's what I would do. Put the queen somewhere where it protects the bishop on b7, and then get ready for that c5 break. You want to liberate the light squared bishop. What's he going to do?
Taking his time here.
He's considering his options.
Horsey, Vladi.
Okay.
There comes the horsey, knight f6, the bishop goes back. And the problems still remain. He has to cover this bishop on b7 in order to push his pawn. But how do you do it?
Okay.
Queen to e7? No.
Yeah, no, he's reaching for his
ideas. Bishop back.
Bishop back. Well, that's unexpected.
That does not look like the way to do this. Something has gone wrong for the legend. Not that he's in big trouble or anything, but if you don't clarify the situation, your pawns are a bit broken on the queen side here, while white has better control of the center. So if he gives white time to stabilize, queen out, knight to b3, then it should just be pressure. There comes the queen.
There comes the queen. And second one, it's going to be what you suggest, knight b3. And then now the rook comes, and of course, white will go, no, I'm not going to go for that one. And the knight will come out to b3, yes.
Parham playing the moves I suggest. That's an excellent sign for him.
It is. Well, these are great moves. So, and looking at the heart rates, we can see that both players, well, they are riding high. They are over 130. And just remember that if your heart rate is over 120, this means that you are under a lot of stress. And the higher it goes, the worse it gets.
Kramnik retreating again. First he moves the bishop back, now the knight back. He is trying to get in this pawn to c5 advance. And it looks like rook to d1 was maybe a little superficial, because now the queen comes out and c5 looks very, very hard to stop. I think Parham might have missed the moment there to maybe establish his knight on c5, blocking that advance for good.
But you know what? I have a suspicion that Parham might just sacrifice material, might just put his knight on c5 and say, hey, take my pawn. But in return,
I have a suspicion he won't do that.
You think?
Let's find out.
Let's find out. He probably won't.
Looks like his advantage has dwindled somewhat, because if black gets that advantage.
Okay.
e5.
But the players are just moving their pieces backwards and forwards.
Yeah,
and there it comes, c5.
Black is fine now, and if black is fine in these positions, he even has potential to be better. It was really just one superficial move by Maghsoodloo, putting his rook to d1, that threw away all his advantage. And now Kramnik is very much in his element. He's been playing these positions for literally 30 years.
He's been playing them before for more years than Parham has been alive.
Sure.
And there we see a trade of pawns in the middle, and the bishops come off the board. And the big question for Parham now is, how on earth is he going to develop his dark square bishop? I mean, look at those pieces, they're still sleeping. Okay, now we see more trades, and Parham now under a minute.
And worse, this might not look like much because the material is equal, but White really struggles to bring his rook out from the corner. The queen is eyeing that a2 pawn,
And
the c4 pawn is coming.
I'll take a look at that pawn majority, working its magic down the queen side. Ooh, that was not a move that Parham played with joy.
He had to keep his a pawn alive, but now this far advanced pawn on b3 will always be a menace if these black pawns move a little further. This pawn is so close to coronation. Kramnik with a positional masterclass here.
Yeah, and now the b pawn is threatening to roll one more square.
Kramnik also ahead on the clock.
It's looking good.
Looking excellent for
And,
former champion.
Parham now lining up his queen and rook on the same line. What's he thinking of? Okay, makes a trade. Is he going to switch into attack the weak pawn on d5 mode? No, he goes for the plan that I've been advocating. Just create...
Checkmate, checkmate threat. Vladi, pay attention. Cover the pawn, move the bishop back.
Yeah,
Great
he
job.
does.
He covered it, and now he can proceed with his pawn avalanche.
Yeah, and 17 seconds now for Maghsoodloo, and his position is really quite shaky. And he pushes the a pawn, and Kramnik, I like the way that he just switches. Suddenly he was pushing pawns, now he's attacking White's weak pawns. And again, don't be tempted to grab the d pawn. Defend, consolidate the king.
Queen to the middle.
Well, that's what we learned from Abdusatorov and Gukesh. Put the queen.
He wants the pawn, he wants to take.
No.
He's too tempted by that a pawn.
No, that's forbidden fruit. You can't do that. Because if you take the pawn, then the rook will swoop down to the 8th line.
Take the pawn, leave the cannoli. He does take, and
but look at this.
Playing with fire. The rook is under attack. Can't take the bishop.
No, and he's got 31 seconds to take.
Where do you go? The d pawn is coming now. He's made a mess out of this by taking that unimportant pawn on a4. He should have listened to you.
Yeah, he should have. And there we can see Maghsoodloo's heart rising to 158. And there's loads of trouble in the world.
Counterpin, what a beautiful move. Queen to e8. But there is a tactic. Pinning, unpinning. No, Maghsoodloo messed it up. I'm not sure what he missed here. But Kramnik, after some very tense moments, emerges with an extra bishop.
Yeah, and 20 seconds for the former world champion. He has to move, attacks the queen, but a piece is a piece, as they say, and it's going to be enough to net.
Rook to f5,
victory.
You can do it.
He can.
No,
he moves his king.
Safety first. It doesn't matter.
Okay, now we see a trade, and that's okay. With handshake, and Kramnik takes the first point with the black pieces, and that's it. They're off. And
129,
Kramnik.
solid.
Yes.
On to e4, aggressive by Kramnik.
And well,
you only need a draw, Vladimir.
I'm surprised by that. I thought he would have gone back to some trusty favorites, but instead
it's going to be the
Sveshnikov. Oh no, is this Kalashnikov?
Yeah, that's what they call this very strange structure. Once again, we see this weakened d5 square, which black will try to play around. Kramnik, no stranger to this opening.
No, but this was recently played by Hikaru Nakamura with great success.
Yeah.
Will Vlad have watched or followed
I'm sure
the series?
He's a big fan. He does not approve of any moral degradation in the opening, so he will certainly be studying how Hikaru has approached this. And Maghsoodloo, wondering what piece to move first, brings the rook, not committing with the bishop yet.
Yeah, and talking about heart rate, both players at a very excitable 136. And we see Maghsoodloo developing his bishop. All good stuff.
The
And
problem
what is White
Maghsoodloo
gonna
has, this is not his main opening. He's in a must-win situation, so he had to play something risky, but you can see he's not familiar with the subtleties. He's spending time, and he does not exactly know what piece should go where. I have a feeling he's winging it a little bit. Well, Kramnik has a very solid setup, now castles, and he will attack the d6 pawn. Looks nice for White.
Yeah, definitely looks nice for White. And castles, but there's a lot of play in these kind of structures. I've noticed that, yes, White has this amazing square on d5, but Black's pieces, they're a little bit pesky. Some knights can reroute themselves, and Black also does have a square on d4 to annoy White. And there you see the knight rerouting to e7. What's it doing there? I'm not really sure, but there's an attack on the c4 pawn.
Yeah,
Kramnik has to defend.
I don't like any of this, but Kramnik facing the decision how to cover the pawn. Pawn to b3 look natural, but then pawn to b5 exploiting the pin he wants to avoid, so he puts the knight on the edge of the board to cover the pawn. He still has such a solid formation that I still think he's very comfortable here.
And what I liked about Kramnik is he made a face.
Oh.
When Parham played his move, he kind of went, don't necessarily give it my approval.
So he is watching Hikaru videos.
Yeah, maybe.
Queen to d2, rook coming to d1. Yeah, Kramnik is in control here. Also, Parham is moving the knight back and forth, showing that mission didn't really help. Kramnik moves on with the draw, so he can offer a move repetition here. He's saying, you go back, I go back, you go back again. We shake hands. I win.
Yeah, that is not an attractive choice for Parham. And so now he attacks the pawn in a different way. And now this time,
pawn to b3.
b3. And
The
now
knight is covered.
this was Parham's dream all along, just to explode open those stronghold on c5. But he's given up a pawn.
He wants to go if pawn takes pawn, queen to c7, targeting all these pieces on the c file. I have my doubts if that really works, but it's certainly making it more complicated, which is what he needs. And looks like Kramnik, a bit surprised by the turn of events, taking a moment here to regain his composure. He could just wait, allow Black to take on c4, then go pawn to b4 as a counter, and yeah, that's what he does. Giving up a pawn, but keeping control. I like how he handled this.
I like how he handles this as well. No need for any complications whatsoever. Just positional excellence.
See that knight on b7 is dominated by the white pawn. It can't really move anywhere because the pawn covers all the good squares he has. So even though white is a pawn down, it is white who does control the situation on the board. But Parham
look
will
at
not
this.
sit idly.
He
Nice.
gives back a pawn as well, just to liberate his pieces. And now the bishop is out, attacking the knight.
Yeah, he's managed to mix it a little bit.
Definitely, and the knight on b7, which you kindly pointed out was dominated by the pawn on b4, is going to find a new home, blockading the d5 pawn.
Yeah, we don't want that. Can we push the pawn, or will Black just take that? It's going to get complicated. Yeah, he doesn't do it. Now the knight can return into action, and Black is all of a sudden completely fine. I wonder where it went wrong for Bloody.
Yeah.
Can't really put my finger on it.
Maybe allowing this d5 break. But anyway, that was in the past. You've got to focus on the present.
Live in the moment.
Exactly. It's very important. The present is a gift, as they say. And anyhow,
Oh,
both players on 136, and now Maghsoodloo under the minute. And the position is still red hot. Oh, he's reaching for the e-pawn. Ooh.
he's in his element now. His pieces have scope. He can try to create complications. Pawn to e4 gives up a key square in the middle of the board. So I'm not sure how good that was, but it does look. The Parham is confident. Really, really leaning into the board here.
Yeah. And
Kramnik tries to keep it close.
he does try to keep it closed, but the first thing I would do is every move has its consequences, and I would be putting a bishop on the d4 square as quickly as I could. And there we see a trade. Nice. Good stuff.
Kramnik trying to keep it all under control here, as they say. keep your friends close, but your position closer. Pawn to h4, and
oh, now he's following. And now the knight comes to d6. Perfect blockading square for the knight. And I wonder whether Kramnik is actually going to say to... Oh, what's he reaching for? He's reaching to trade off bishops.
He's nervous. He spotted something?
No.
What was he spotted?
He just wants to trade off bishops.
Take the bishop. What's the problem?
There's no problem.
Yeah.
There you go. I wonder whether he will go f5. Or maybe he will move the queen. Okay, yeah, he
he's
moves the
trying
queen.
to play it safe. But can you control a Parham Maghsoodloo in such a situation? Queen to f6, targeting the pawn. Kramnik keeps retreating, trying to cover everything. But there comes the c-pawn. This is a mess now.
Complete mess. And the players, well, they are around 30 seconds. What will happen is the players will play very good chess, should say. And they will maintain this. Look at this.
Another Zwischenzug. This man does not respect his queen. He just counterattacks. And there comes the queen stepping to the side.
Can you do that? Isn't there some knight? Queen takes pawn. It's blow for blow chess here. And the queen centralizing. Oh, this position is still crazy.
Yeah, queen e4 I like, because the queen now can enter the d4 square, giving a check, giving a lot of stability to the white position.
Parham,
Showing
is he
great
reaching
board
for?
vision there.
Okay, he's moving the queen to attack the
Takes
knight.
the pawn.
Now the smoke is cleared. We see that Kramnik is a pawn up. Looking good.
Great shape now, and he has this check. This was the key. Giving himself a little breather. Oh, pieces start dancing a little bit.
No, you can't do that. You get an extra 2 seconds that means you should be able to correct your pieces. Okay, 7 seconds for Parham. And the d-pawn is rolling up the board.
Yeah, there comes the d-pawn cramping the black position. Kramnik is in control now.
Just has to steady his nerves. Now the h-pawn is dropping with check. Still, there is a lot of pressure along the d-line with that d7 pawn on the board. And attacking the queen. Parham saying, hey, I've got a pass pawn too.
Yeah, but it's less impressive than that pawn on d7, I have to say. White is also pawn up, could go f5 now, opening the position further. Feels like you can see Kramnik doubting a little bit what to move, and he hangs a pawn.
Oh no.
He's nervous. Just hung this pawn for no good reason.
No, he's
still fine.
It's nerves. He's panicking.
Queen 7, there comes the knight.
Oh, that's a nice move. Threatening.
Oh, knight f6 check. Is that it? He doesn't do it.
No.
Why didn't he do it?
Because the knight was attacking the queen, so there was complications there. And 3 seconds for Parham. Look how Parham is playing, just surviving. And now the a-pawn drops. And still not over. Kramnik, don't panic. You have 15
Get 2 seconds per move, Vladimir. This is not Armageddon yet. Oh, tactics! He spotted a knight fork. And this should be decisive. Queen b8, beautiful move, covering all the squares, making sure this pawn queens. And Parham loses on time, but his position was lost as well.